Welcome back, everybody. We are here after our most recent major battle at Manassas. So, we do need to look at kind of how our strength's looking here. We're going to do a little house cleaning here and change some names of some units around just for the sake of organization. We are probably going to go ahead and make another division with Richardson's Corps. Need to find... Yes, I know that's not the right letter. We're going to do some adjustments. So we are going to find a brigadier. It's due to be promoted. Right now it looks like Sedgwick. Actually, it's looking like Williams. Unless somebody pops up with more fame than him. Nope. Alright, so we'll replace Williams. David Ireland. And then give Williams his own division over here underneath Richardson. Let's see, some states that we haven't just pulled all over from. Alright, so we're starting to run out of muskets. It's alright. Maryland, New Hampshire, we haven't fielded any men from. We'll get them involved in the war here. Let's see. New Jersey doesn't look like we've pulled from very much. Maine and New Jersey we'll do as the next two. Got a lot of men that are not fielded there, so it should make things a little bit easier on state support. For those of you that are on the Discord, you've seen that AOM is going to be getting an update here soon. Those of you that are not, well, now you know. So we will also need an artillery brigade at some point, but we'll start with just infantry for right now. Let's see how our other cores are doing. There we go. We're doing okay, it looks like. The Army of Florida still out of supply. Alright, we'll get the game rolling again. There we go again, getting told that we are... Alright, yep, this is where we left off, with this battle getting ready to take place, and we'll go ahead and jump in and see you momentarily. And so we've made it back to our map. We're going to be on the Murfreesboro map again. Looks like our cores are somehow not linked up here. That's interesting. Really interesting part is it looks like they're going to enter the map potentially right between us. So that'll be potentially confusing for everybody. I guess what we'll do here is prepare for that inevitability, because ultimately that's probably where they're going to end up if I just had to guess at this point. Um, so we'll bring you back as we get everything set up. All right, so we've got our setup. Bull Nelson seems to be the only one that's cut off here. So we are going to try to quickly march him to double check that we are not getting flanked here. We'll send a couple cavalry units down to capture that supply point. And then what we'll do with Nelson is have his men flip around and use the railroad to defend the town. As you see, we are using that railroad all the way across. We could use the river itself, but that kind of gets to a point where it's really, really easy to defend. Granted, I guess the railroad cover is probably going to give us quite a bit also. So we'll try to quickly, before nightfall, take this supply point, have everybody supplied, and see what to do for tomorrow. Actually, what we'll do with this one is send them down to just verify that we are not going to get hit in the back while we try that. We send Gorman's men to flip around and defend here. McCook's going to flip around and defend right about there. And we'll keep Crittenton moving this direction as a reserve slash force to really stop an advance by the enemy here. And then we'll have Crittenton block this road in case they decide to march all the way over to that road to advance on us. Really, we're just getting to nightfall here, most likely, and then we'll probably try to shift everybody down to cover a little bit more of the Nashville-Chattanooga Railroad and more of the river with our artillery and whatnot. They definitely look like they're in a single line, but we'll just go ahead and make it official. So we'll bring you back as we find the enemy. Oh, well, we have found somebody. Let's hope it's not a whole lot of infantry right behind it. It looks like it's just a commander. The name looked like it was Jackson. It looks like it's Stonewall Jackson. Did he bring anybody with him? Be a heck of a way to capture Stonewall. Looks like they showed up to the fight with only 15,000 men and the rest coming as reinforcements. Hopefully we can take this point before the nightfall. We get a better supply at that point, and they, I believe, cannot come in from that road then. That would be extremely helpful for us. We got Peck's artillery here to cover the roads. All right, so he's getting there. Cooper will come be reserved down this direction. So our cavalry still hasn't spotted anybody other than Jackson. So, all right, we'll bring you back as things progress. So we did reach the end of the day without seeing anybody other than Jackson that was scouting our lines. Um, Knowing the actual history of Stonewall Jackson and scouting lines, it could mean one of two things. Either he might not make it through the battle, or they're going to pop up in the place we least expect them. So what we will do is we will slide down most of our cores just a little bit in an attempt to protect a little bit more of the roadway. Uh, um, Actually, let's put everybody in a single line there. Let's see what that does. Well, so we definitely expanded our line there. We do have James Cooper, who is going to keep his division on the backside of the river in case things get crazy. Station cavalry units periodically throughout the map in an attempt to kind of figure out which road they're going to come down. We really don't know. The worst case scenario would be that they end up on this side over here. So we are going to stick this regiment this direction so we have as much prior warning as possible. Because of that, we might need to slide Cooper in, or we'll just use him. There we go. Okay. So we will have to slide Cooper into the actual lines of battle here. Um, Negley, we'll get up to defend. All right, we'll bring you back as as they start appearing on our screens. We have finally spotted them. It's been actually like an hour and 15 minutes of actual game time. Obviously not real time because we did speed up, but they finally are spotted coming down a road, at least a cavalry unit. We have no idea if it's more than that one individual cavalry unit. If it is, great. Looks like they've spotted our skirmishers and have slown up. Okay, nothing in front of this Wisconsin regiment so far. Kentucky regiment's only spotting one thing. We didn't want them too far removed from our lines if we needed to fall back. You see, we had about 500 casualties overnight, and their morale is better than ours right now. We do have most of our commanders at this point with their troops rallying who's ever potentially not got great morale right now. Looks like quite a few actually, but we'll do that to try to help relieve the blow. Obviously, the negative of that is we are more likely to have those people wounded and killed. Alright, so we've spotted one cavalry regiment, but still it. Typically that means there's infantry right behind, but not even seeing the dust kick up right now. So this cavalry regiment could be completely a diversion, and they are moving extremely slowly through the woods right now. Even on speed 5, it is a grueling crawl forward. Alright, now we've got another regiment. Looks like it's the Texas Brigade in Nashville. Okay, that could explain why they're moving so slow. They could be extremely winded, going through the hills and the forests, or whatever we want to call this. Kind of looks like a forest to me. So we spotted them there with this Ohio regiment of cavalry. A little large for a regiment, but you get the point. It's almost like they literally just drew a straight line through where they wanted to go, and they decided to march off of the main road and didn't take Gresham Lane. I'm not really sure the pathing that they decided here, but as you see, we do have about every approach that we can think of covered just in case they all start coming from different directions. Alright, there's more coming down this road. Go ahead and get that out of the way. We do have them extremely outnumbered for the foreseeable few hours. Let's check how long for. 15 hours. So, and looks like Lee's Corps is extremely low on supplies. So if that's the case, it looks like our blockade's doing pretty well. And if they're low on supplies, then their morale should be pretty shaky the rest of the time, on top of their massive march through forests. Alright, these guys are going to need to spin around and potentially defend themselves, or we'll just get them out of here as quickly as possible. We'll see if we can get them out of there before they get attacked. Okay, so we've been spotted, and now they're moving pretty quickly. Um, hmm. What we are going to do is go ahead and start sending Crittenton down the road to defend a potential and support this side of our line. I don't think they'll be coming down the Shelbyville Turnpike. But it does look like they might potentially try our right flank, so it's a pretty good thing that we stationed a cavalry unit over there. We'll get this second one up just in case we need some support. And we're getting the Wisconsin regiment out of there before they get hit too hard. Looks like we were able to get them out of there before they only took 19 losses. Those could have been the overnight losses. I'm not entirely sure. And then what we'll do is we'll station those guys to extend our line. in the forest there. We'll do the same with dodges, cavalry. Alright, looks like the Texas Brigade has reached our skirmishers and our artillery fire. Let's get that artillery up a little bit closer to the actual engagement here. Alright, there we go. So right now it's just the Texas Brigade. Artillery looks like it's firing clear over their heads right now. So hopefully we get that straightened out. Not sure why these skirmishers have decided not to engage when they're just required to turn. So we've got a couple skirmisher groups engaged there with the Texas Brigade. We haven't seen anybody else really start trying to come out of the woods yet. Our artillery's starting to do a little bit of damage. Of course, we could also be firing into our own skirmishers, it looks like. We're missing a little bit to the right there, guys. We'll just keep bringing cavalry over this direction to extend our line a little bit. While the Texas Brigade looks like it's pushing back the first of our skirmishers, Warren's skirmishers. Somehow while engaged, they are popping out skirmishers themselves, and they're quickly returned to whence they came. We are putting some significant casualties on them over the course of the last hour as they engage our skirmishers out near the pond. Not sure why they're getting ready to break. Let's see, are they... Nope, they're doing okay on ammo. Doing okay on ammo also. The Holcomb Legion. There we go. We got some artillery actually hitting them now. Wonder if it's just the friendly fire causing these guys to potentially break. Looks like Wofford's brigade is starting to move this direction as the Texas Brigade is being pushed back. 200 casualties is a good number to put on their first advance brigade. See if by the time they get out of range, if there's any more. About 200. That should slow them up a little bit. And then we've got artillery still pounding into them from a distance as the Holcomb Legion 2nd and 3rd units push forward onto a separate part of our line and separate skirmishers. Let's see, Thomas Morris and Horatio Wright skirmishers are out there. Okay, This is Hunton's detachment. Looks like he's got some skirmishers. Wofford's brigade. Eppa Hunton. Must be the 8th Virginia. Ford's division. Yeah, it's looking like that's probably who that is. And then Wofford's brigade's pretty under strength also. Looks like the Holcomb Legion was pushed back with some light casualties as an under-strength brigade to begin with. See if we're getting anything else coming at us that we're unaware of. No, it's alright. Looks like they're all concentrating around the pond and coming out of the round forest, potentially. Looks like they're trying to form up an actual battle line here to approach and push our skirmishers out of position. You can see they've got pretty low cohesion there. For those of you that may not play the game, there's some of the information you're going to get from having low cohesion. There goes our skirmishers. And they do have some high fatigue going around also. Looks like they're trying to get artillery into place. So what we will do as they start trying to bring artillery into place is we are going to have the infantry laid down. Stay out of range of the artillery until they start getting their infantry into range of more than just skirmishers. Let our artillery go ahead and switch to a counter battery. If we can. Let's get Mitchell onto counter battery if possible. Actually, looks like their artillery is going to be out of range for the most part, so we'll just go ahead and stay with fire. There they come. So counter battery it is. We'll just keep switching back and forth, it appears. Looks like they're pushing specifically on Hayman's brigade, who have poor training. Keyes' brigade, basically all of Pope's men. If I remember correctly, most of those guys are, well, looks like they're not all in their first battle. I thought potentially some of those units would be in their first battle, so it would make the most sense, but looks like actually we're in good shape there. We'll get that artillery up just a little bit further. Looks like the first of Crittenden's men have made it. This direction will let them rest, and then probably bring them up behind the artillery in case we need that reserve. Alright, we've routed their first artillery piece, or artillery battalion, I would probably say. Not sure where they're currently marching for. Alright. Smithman, stand up and lay into him. Warren, your guys need to join in on that shooting. Switch Warren to long range so he can hit some flanking fire. And the same with Schlee. Says he's firing, but it's not many men firing. Ooh, these guys are taking some hits right there right away. We'll let Warren's men spin. Still use the rail line as an embankment. Hopefully. And pour a little bit of extra fire into Wofford's brigade. If their strategy is to send one unit up at a time, it's not going to work very well. We do have artillery getting ready to get back into place. Let's see if we can just go ahead and get them to set up where they're at and help out. Yep, we'll get them to help out. This group will go ahead and keep moving forward for Howe. What we need from Crittenton is to go ahead and get those guys across the river and potentially be in support here. And we'll bring this Kentucky regiment back with the intent of using them for a little morale boost of having some cavalry with some quick guns behind you in case everything breaks through. Now let's disengage Warren. Go ahead, disengage and fall back a little bit. It's all good, man. You did what you needed to do. You pushed them back, inflicted some heavy casualties. Gouverneur Warren, hero of Little Round Top. And later gets fired for a variety of things, but, may not have been his fault. Is it the Texas Brigade back at it? It is. Looks like the 8th Virginia is still engaging our skirmishers this direction. Man, somehow, no matter where we put the artillery, it doesn't ever have a good line of sight. Trying to get them up on hills as best I can here, folks. Try to get Hal's men up there for some canister. Well, we'll try to get Van Pelt's men up there for canister also. Maybe we can move our artillery close enough that it becomes more effective, regardless of where we're stationed. So Ford's Division, Texas Brigade, and the Holcomb Legion. Not sure if they've got anybody else in that division. are looking to push forward again. Okay, you're gonna go back to using that artillery piece that my artillery is refusing to fire at. Okay, that's cool. We'll lay down and let that take place. Fire at us while we should be in good shape. Let's see, let's put Keem's men on long range. See if we can get some extra fire in there that way. Looks like we've pushed the Texas Brigade back again. They're up to 250 casualties. By the bodies laying on the ground, it looks like we're struggling here for casualties, but I feel like we're winning this fight pretty handedly right now. Oh, there's two pieces of the Holcomb Brigade. Alright, let's set up and fire, please. Tell me you can see this time. Yep, you can. Awesome. We'll speed it back up to speed 2, maybe even start going faster. The reason we don't go any faster, sometimes the AI has a tendency to walk through bullets when you go faster. Okay, they're all laying down from our artillery fire. We'll speed up even more. With our number superiority, we it's taking kind of everything I have not to send Pope's men on the attack. But I think that's what we're going to do. I tried to hold myself off there and convince myself that we didn't need to. But I think we're going to. I think if we don't, they'll postpone any potential attack until they get more reinforcements. So put Keem and Keys on the attack in the center of this line. Heyman, McCall will spin on the road. Crittenton is our defense if something goes wrong. Heyman, we're going to stick in the attack as well. I think our artillery being up finally will give us some covering fire. It says they're firing. Awesome. Okay, they're firing. They're not firing. They're firing. Okay, there we go. Okay, everybody is firing. Let's see what our division commanders have decided to do. Alright, team. We'll slow it down just a little bit so we're not walking through their bullets. Not fair to do it to them if we won't let them do it to us. Keem decided he was going to be aggressive. He sent everybody forward. I like it. Keem, you're probably first up for a promotion next time, man. Sent everybody forward and said, well, we're going to shoot that whole group sitting there. I'm a big fan of Keem so far. Might have to promote him over for David Hunter's division. Alright. You may not want to, or just me thinking out loud here, you may not want to march directly into them. Alright, George McCall, let's get you on attack. Also, not assault. What's Keyes doing over this direction? We'll get Cavalry Brigade up. Alright, and so at this point, everybody should have their orders for what we need to do. Tappan's brigade is going to have flanking fire hitting it any second. And there it is. From Governor Warren. Looks like Turchin's brigade's taking some losses and falling back. Ord just can't decide what he wants to do. He moves forward, falls back, moves forward, falls back. Looks like we've routed their unit on their, or at least their skirmishers protecting their flank. Wondering if McCall's going to push forward. Looks like he is. Heyman, however, is only sending one unit forward and has dropped other units back in reserve. Disheartening. Ord's brigade still really isn't sure what it's doing. It just keeps spinning around in circles, trying to figure out where to shoot. Not saying that that's his fault, but something's wrong. Alright, Ord, let's just stop falling back because you're taking a morale hit. And let's just march like soldiers. Forward, shoot, and just hang out there. Because we have the Texas Brigade taking 600 casualties so far, and the brigades behind it, well, I guess Govin's brigade has some men, but oh, that's the problem. That artillery brigade has Ord freaking out, and it's not even really an artillery. They're gone. They're gone, Ord. They're not even doing anything, man. Come on, come on. Just keep shooting, Ord. There's nobody even there! How are you flanked? Alright, now you're not flanked. Shoot! Apparently Heyman doesn't like the idea of the whole attack thing. He's apparently our Hunter of the West. Warren, you know, that guy might get promoted. He's cautious, but he got his guys out from behind the rail line and went to work. Morris and Turchin have both fallen back all the way, but we have Ord and Wright shooting into the Texas Brigade as well as Govin's Brigade. McCall's men haven't really started moving yet. Texas Brigade has taken some hits today. 800 casualties. Alright, Ord's back on the move. .900 casualties. So they're taking some hits. Govin's Brigade is now flanked heavily by Ord, who finally decided to get into the fight. His brigade is taking some hits hard now. Horatio Wright's morale starting to falter. Looks like the Texas Brigade, 950 casualties, decided it was enough. Hawes' brigade's at 2,700. So they're still at strength there. We're going to get some cavalry units around behind this artillery, just really to kind of make them have to do something other than just shell the heck out of us from distance. Alright, Wright broke. Do we need to send another unit in? We'll get Anderson's men into the fight now. Cox's men are firing into a handful of units here. It looks like we've routed the cavalry. Can't figure out who's behind the Holcomb Legion there, but looks like it's a little bit of a fight going on there. We should win that fight because we do have more guns there. 12th Arkansas. There's Hawes Brigade. Okay, we maybe didn't have more guns there. So it looks like they are attempting to rally back where that behind their artillery line. Except it looks like the Texas Brigade has called it quits for the battle. They are on the run and not slowing down. It looks like we may be at the breaking point for the enemy. Maybe a couple more casualties cause them to rout. Maybe a little more of a morale hit. Our cavalry is working. It looks like, what, 2 units of cavalry trying to punch through here. Yeah, it looks like they're on a heavy retreat at this point. There's another one broken. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, bar's all the way full. 18% casualties. Looks like it'll stay a minor victory unless we get some cleanup casualties here at the end, but I think it's just their morale broke completely. So there's not a whole lot we'll be able to do. Realistically, based on the way the game works, we'll probably end up fighting this same map with the same battle with all the other troops that didn't make it to the fight, and potentially these guys. So we'll be back potentially tomorrow with that video. But in the meantime, we'll see the victory screen. See 1,500 casualties for us, 2,900 for them. Obviously, they can't take 2-1 losses consistently against us. That won't go well. So we'll get back to the main screen and we'll bring you back. Alright, so we're back in the main screen, and you see they lost T.H. Taylor and looks like John Hood were both killed in that fight. The Texas Brigade did take a lot of casualties there, so it appears they lost their commander. I'll be interested to see if this other attack by the Confederate AI decides to call off the attack. Donelson's Corps. I'll be interested if they decide to call off the attack or not. Man, we just can't get the readiness on. 12 days. Okay, it's not terrible. So, when we left off, we did also have a bombardment going on of Fort Gibson. Looks like there's a couple Confederate infantries over here. But if we remember correctly, I believe the Western Army is extremely understrength, as is the Missouri State Guard. Yeah, 2,500 in the one, and I can't get a click on the other one, but 3,700 in the Indian Guard. There's not a lot of troops over here. We're going to number our corps based on the department they're in, so I don't get confused. That way, if we start adding a bunch of corps, we'll know what numbers to make them. If we can get Pope's men in about 12 days, we will go ahead and start marching towards Memphis, potentially. As you see, our numbers are dropping for our troops down to 207,000 troops. 6 days. We will increase that here momentarily as troops start arriving back to units for reinforcements. 22 days. Hopefully we get maybe a couple weeks without a major battle to try to get everything sorted back out, get our troops back in place. 41 days for Richardson. He's going to need a little over a month. If we can make it to June without a major battle, I think we'll be in good shape. 6 days. 1 day for Burnside. Halleck's men are all there, so that's a win. Mansfield's Department of Washington's all there. How are we doing on that? Good. Where's Farragut's fleet? How are they doing? Still 12 disabled. Believe, yep, we're moments away from getting some ironclad gunboats there for Farragut. And next stop may be Fort McAllister. Nah, we'll skip some of those level 2 forts for right now. Other than potentially right here, Fort Clinch. I believe that might give us Ferdinandia, the port, which is at 82% blockaded. Worst case scenario, we'll try to either take that fort or we'll come down to Tampa, take that fort, and try to take most of Florida out of the fight. I know it's not supporting the Confederacy with a lot of troops, but if we take them out of the fight, it just takes out some more of the supply, and the AI has to really figure out what it's going to prioritize. They got the Department of Western Florida down here with 10,000 troops, Department of Alabama. If we start taking forts along Florida, they're going to be in trouble. And hopefully we can start working on New Orleans and taking that out. So Lee's Corps went all the way back to Waynesboro. There's an army of West Tennessee with 1 corps. Critten's Corps, 28,000. Where's Polk? 29. How are we doing troop number-wise? So they're at 233,000 troops to our 212. Obviously part of that is we're not doing reinforcements, and they are. But it does allow them to not feel the need to out-recruit us right now. Alright, are we really overcrowded? Yeah, we are. Alright. I don't need to give them any extra support here, guys. French repulse, awesome. We already did that one. Alright, so we'll upgrade those 2. And we will stick a few of those gunboats, those ironclads, over here into... Actually, most of those ironclads that are for the sea, we're going to get into Farragut's fleet. And we'll take a couple of those ships that are struggling for form and get them back out. And then our river ironclads will try to start having hit New Orleans from the other side. So it'll take him probably a few days to get all those ships in. Do we have anything to swap in and out? No. Alright. So we will end this episode here. Looks like the Fort Gibson engagement just finished. And just taking the fort caused McCulloch and Price to withdraw. They must be so badly out of supply that even the fort caused them to withdraw. So we'll get out of the way there and try to let them go. We don't really want to send them up into Kansas by accident. And it looks like that's a big win there. So we'll go ahead and let that switch over, and you'll be able to see exactly what we've done there, where I believe we'll take most of, if not all of, the northern piece of the Indian Territory. So we're going to move Foote back this direction. He's far away from a port that we own, so we are going to get him back that direction just in case. See here, the Missouri State Guard and the Western Army are falling back pretty significantly. I'm not sure the path that they're on. Yeah, we're a ways away from there. But what we'll be able to do is start sending that Department of Kansas out here to be the Department of the Indian Territory, or we'll break them apart and try to go take Wichita Agency, and then the rest of some of these forts in Indian Territory. I think that might have been our 10th fort. Nope, not yet. So we're getting close to those 10 forts. Hopefully very soon. Let's see where these guys go. Western Army, they're trying to reinforce. Yeah, like I said, we'll finish this episode here. I was hoping we could get it to the point where you could see that we have... Yeah, it looks like you can see it a little bit, but not as much as I was hoping. Anyway,